on the ground there for us. Thank you.
And former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is here. He's also a Fox News contributor. You've listened to Bill Hemmer's reporting, Trey Ying's reporting. And from a macro overall standpoint, when the United States says that it wants to have a role here, what do you think President Trump's next move are in order to help end the suffering, but also get the hostages back?
Well, Dan, I think it's really important to both listen to Bill's reporting, which is pretty remarkable, and I'm sure will continue to be, but second, to remember how this all began. It's easy to think about what's happening in Gaza today and see the folks there that are trying to figure out how to feed their families and forget that the folks who caused this problem are the terrorists, the Iranians, the Hamas massacre actors from now, goodness, almost 2 years ago. And so we have to remember this is still an active conflict, and Israel's doing what no nation is often asked to do, is that's to feed the people that are sitting inside the enemy's territory. So I think Prime Minister Netanyahu is trying to figure out, like, if I take control, is that how I maximize the chance of getting the hostages home? I think that is his highest priority. You add that to Israeli security, and I suspect he will determine that he has to move more aggressively, expand the operation so that they can actually get those folks home, and then they can actually build out a model which will feed these people in Gaza without Hamas being rearmed and refunded. That's the risk. If the UN has handed back the humanitarian mission, they will continue to work with Hamas, and Hamas will get some of the money and some of the food. And the risk that we'll be right back where we were on October 6th remains.
Secretary Pompeo, it seems unimaginable where I sit here in Washington looking at the footage that our crews have gotten on the ground inside Gaza at these distribution sites in Rafah, where Bill just reported a moment ago. The decimation is pretty much at 100%. That inconceivable that Hamas, after overseeing this, could have any kind of a political future among Palestinians. Now 500,000 of them are kind of hovering on the brink. They're getting close to a state of famine. Do you see a path forward with Israeli legitimate political leadership in the Strip?
Goodness, it is hard to imagine how any Gazan could see Hamas as their ally, but the propaganda that's been foisted on them for decades, and the situation, if you look at Judea and Samaria, if you look at the West Bank, Mahmoud Abbas, Abu Mazen, has been terrorizing his own citizens for decades, and yet he continues to remain in power. And Hamas has not yet relinquished that power. They still have weapons, they still have capabilities, they are still holding hostages their own people in addition to Israelis. We should not underestimate Hamas's continued influence in the region and the need for Israel and the United States to completely eliminate their political capacity.
Can I ask then Bill Hemmer or Trey Ying? So I want to ask you one more question, because earlier this week, Hamas took it upon themselves to release a video of a starving hostage being made to dig his own grave. So what sort of leverage do they think they have if they don't necessarily have the people's support, as Bill, you just reported? The people you spoke to today say they don't want them there, and yet they are taunting the Israeli government, Jews all around the world, and the people who support them.
It's a remarkable story, Dana. One should be mentioned yet again. And many Western news organizations don't even show the pictures that Hamas puts out because they view it as exactly that, propaganda for their own cause. We have the good fortune of having Trey Ying's with us now, because Trey spoke with that man's brother just this past weekend. And Trey, what did he tell you about how the family's trying to hold on?
Yeah, Bill, Dana, Jillian, we spoke with Eviatar David's brother here in Tel Aviv, and we asked him what this experience has been like for him, waiting nearly 700 days for his brother to come home. And he told me he couldn't bring himself to watch that hostage video that Hamas released, showing his brother digging his own grave in the tunnels beneath Gaza, looking into the camera, looking so frail, like he was about to collapse because Hamas has kept food and medicine from him. And while Hamas tried to put pressure on the negotiation by releasing this video, it actually strengthened the Israeli position to bring the hostages home, to unify this country, and to ensure that people like Eviatar can be reunited with their loved ones. And so we spoke with his brother, and he pleaded with the American administration, with President Trump, and with Israeli officials to find a solution to bring his brother home, along with the other 19 living hostages and the bodies of 30 others.
Well, it is such a complex issue. Complicated is not even an adjective that can describe it. And we're grateful to you, Bill Hemmer, Trey Yingst, and Mike Pompeo for helping us talk it through this morning, and more reporting to come from Bill and Trey, and Bill's interview with Prime Minister Netanyahu coming this Thursday. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Jillian?
Well, here in Washington, we are watching Capitol Hill as the House